DreamKeeper's Journal, Keep Out. Written by Fever, narrated by Virtual. November 6th, the year 6027, 3:27 p.m.
Hey, you journal. My name is Dreamkeeper Lacerta. It's nice to meet you. It's weird because I'm talking to, well, a book. But yeah, today's my birthday. I'm 7 years old. It's nice to finally have something to write my feelings into. So, if I'm ever feeling down, you'll be the first to know about it. My aunts gave me some new plant seeds, and I'm so thankful. I'm pretty sure these are called spear plants, aka the Sansevieria cylindrica, if we're speaking in scientific terms. I can't wait to start growing them. I have just the spot for them, right between my philodendron and my dwarf schefflera. It'll be so pretty. My aunts also told me that they would try to find some flower seeds too. It'll be a surprise though, so it sucks that I won't be able to know what I'm getting. Mother gave me a small stuffed animal. I think it's a bear? I'm not very sure. It looks kind of wobbly and soggy, as if it was drowned or something. But I guess it's a cool gift. Mother doesn't know what I like very much. She barely talks to me about my interests. It's mostly about my visions, I'll get back to that, and my grades. It's kind of depressing. I've never truly gotten to have a conversation with her. Crazy, right? Anyways, I think I'm gonna name my bear Leaf. That's a fitting name, right? I find it rather cute. And you know, it ties into my love for plants. So it works. Totally. Father, he didn't even bother to get me a gift. He says that if I'm truly happy, I won't even need a gift. I guess that's fine too. I don't really mind either way. Just like Mother, Father isn't big on interactions. And if I'm being honest, I don't think I even want to talk to him. He's kind of scary. He has scars everywhere and looks like he got mangled by a mudwing. Zethosia, that's where it gets cool. They gave me you, journal. Well, not just you, they also gave me a new watering can. It's so cute. It's kind of teal and super glossy. Not to mention how it has stickers on it. Begonia leaves, I think. I'm so glad they got me these gifts. They know me better than anyone else. As for everything else going on in my life, I've got a secret. A huge one, journal. One that could ruin my life. It started a few days ago. Mother and Father were arguing about something, and I had enough. So, after thinking for a while, I decided that I'd tell them I finally got my first vision. You see, journal, our family is big on seer powers. Everyone in my family has them. But I don't. I'm not sure why, but I'm not a seer like the rest of my family. I'm just boring old Dream. An average Nightwing. Which sucks, by the way. Anyways, back to the visions. So, I told them that I had a vision that I'd get straight A's all throughout school. Probably a bad idea. They got excited and stopped fighting. But only then did I realize that I'd have to keep up with appearances and only get A's. That's crazy! How am I supposed to do that? Well, no matter. I'm a Lacerta. I can do this. Right? Probably. Yeah, maybe. I hope. Anyways, Mother's telling me that I need to come back to the living room. I've been scribbling on these pages in my room to get the privacy I deserve. So, for now, this is a goodbye journal. See you after the party.
November 6th, the year 6027, 11:48 p.m.
Guess who's back? Well, the party was kind of a bore. I don't have any friends, and Mother decided to invite all of her pretentious buddies. They have kids, but none of them wanted to play with me. They thought my skills were weird. Are they? I never did think about them. I mean, sure, they're different, but are they weird? Satosia always tells me that I'm beautiful, which is very nice of them, but according to those kids, maybe I'm not as pretty as they think. It bums me out, but it's true. The Dragonets thought I looked weird, so they didn't want to play with me. Simple, right? So I spent the evening with Sathosia in the greenhouse. We planted the spear plant seeds together. They'll start sprouting in a few days, which is exciting. I'll keep track of their growth in my fittingly named botany tracker. Don't you worry, journal. You're still my number one. Soon enough, Father came to fetch me so that I could blow my candles out. I don't think he actually cared if I was there or not. He was just following Mother's orders. After a painful 30 minutes of forcefully grinning, Mother finally allowed me to go back up to my room. I won't even bother to say goodbye to those bullies. They don't deserve my sympathy. Well, either way, I'll try to keep you updated if anything happens in the next few days. Sorry if this was a quick entry. Just feeling a bit down and tired after tonight. See you soon, journal.
November 11th, 6027, 1:28 p.m.
Hey, ya journal. Sorry I haven't been as active. I was busy helping Mother around the house with cleaning. Not to mention all the care I give to my plants. I don't know how Seth is going to handle all of them while I'm at school. Speaking of, that's what I'm here to talk about. School. Mother enrolled me into a very prestigious school. All Sears, apparently. I've never been to school before. Ever since I was 3 years old, I've been homeschooled. So, this will be a new experience for me. I'll have to touch up on my deception skills if I want to trick my family and my teachers. It's pretty scary when I think about it. I don't want to get exposed for lying. And not only do I have to lie to everyone, I also have to get A's all the time. It's gonna be a hassle. But I guess I'll have to live with my mistakes. I'm not sure if I'll have the time to write much, but I'll try my best. Like I said before, Seth is going to take care of my plants while I'm gone. I have more than a lot though, so I feel bad that they have to take care of so many. I've tried convincing them to let me water them twice instead of 3 times per day, but they told me that they'll be fine. I know they won't, but whatever. Anyways, school starts tomorrow, so I have to get ready for bed. So see ya, journal.
November 24th, the year 6027, 4:16 p.m.
Hey, so school isn't so shabby. The other students do kind of glare at me every once in a while, but it must be nothing, right? I probably accidentally dropped some gruel in my bag or something. The teachers at school are okay. Again, some of them are giving me weird looks, but there was this one teacher that was very nice to me. I think his name is Mr. Rowensong. Yeah, Mr. Rowensong. He's a very nice dragon. I was super nervous today, and he helped me introduce myself to the class. He made sure I was doing well, and he's just overall a cool guy. I hope I'll get to talk to him more. Well, either way, Seth told me about a library before I left the house. They said that there were hundreds, if not thousands of books. And they weren't wrong. When I went to visit it, the walls were covered in scrolls. Everywhere you looked, scrolls, books, everything! I was extremely excited, to say the least. I might have grabbed every scroll about astrology and botany I could find. They're all neatly piled up in the corner of my bedside cabinet. I'm about to start reading one about flowers. Fun fact, I've never grown a flower before. I only take care of tropical plants, so I'm excited to learn about something new. Anyways, I'm going to read now. I'll see you soon, journal.
December 15th, the year 6027, 2:54 p.m.
Hey, journal. Sorry I haven't written in a few days. School has been exhausting. I have so much work to do. It'll drive me mad someday. Anyways, I'm lucky I remembered to sneak my book into my bag today. I have something to tell you about, journal. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but here I go. I think I have a crush on a girl? Well, it's confusing. Her name is Faith. Oh, Journal, she's the prettiest Nightwing I've ever met. She has beautiful dark blue scales and bright blue eyes. Whenever she's around me, I get butterflies in my stomach and I feel like I'm about to puke. In a good way. She's actually also the first dragon who spoke to me. No one else wanted to, so that's disappointing. But luckily for me, I have Faith. I'm sure we'll be great friends. Or maybe even more. Oh, what am I saying? Mother and father would never support such a thing. I have to stop. But it feels so good. I'm conflicted, Journal. I wish you could help me out somehow. But you can't. Anyways, I have to go to art class now. I'll see you soon.
December 17th, the year 6027, 9:31 a.m.
Why are all the kids staring at me? They're barely even looking at my face. It's mostly just my body. Why are they doing that? Is there something wrong? Every time I look up from you, I see a group of Nightwings murmuring and whispering, side-eyeing me. It's concerning, to say the least. But I don't know what to do about it. Frankly, I don't know what to do about many things. First Faith, now this? How confusing. I hope they don't hate me. It'd be a shame if everyone hated me in my first year of school. Well, at least my first class is with Mr. Rowensong, so I might ask him about it. Probably not, but if I muster enough courage, I might. Speaking of Mr. Rowensong, he let me use his quill yesterday when I lost mine. My classmates didn't want to lend me theirs for some reason, so Mr. Rowensong came to the rescue. He's the best teacher I've ever had. Anyways, later today I plan on...
December 17th, the year 6027, 3:14 p.m.
They took you. I was minding my own business, just writing my worries away, when suddenly the Nightwings I told you about before came in and took you. They started reading everything out loud. I tried my best to stop them, but it was too late. They'd already mentioned my crush on Faith. She isn't in this class, but some dragonettes are. Their laughs were loud and obnoxious enough to make me want to throw myself out of a window. I felt my cheeks burning and my heart pounding out of my chest. I could hear it beating in my ears, disorienting me from reality. Luckily, Mr. Rowensong interrupted before they got to the part about my fake visions and gave those bullies a stern talking to. It was the most embarrassing experience I've ever had. During the entirety of class, I felt their stares on my scales, a lump in my throat as I tried to concentrate on the lesson. It was hard. Literature is my favorite class, but not when everyone suddenly knows about your darkest secret. It's making me so uncomfortable, Journal. After he finished teaching us, he made sure to tell everyone in the class that whatever happens in class stays in class. I gave him an understanding grin, but I couldn't manage to keep it for more than a few seconds. Mr. Rowensong let everyone leave with a prominent glare on each passing dragonette, but stopped me as I was about to leave. He told me that whatever I was feeling was completely valid. He then told me that he was exposed for liking his friend when he was younger as well, and that I wasn't alone. I was honestly surprised that he knew how I felt, so I didn't interrupt him. Instead, I let him tell me how dragons from his previous school used to judge him for it too. I felt terrible for him. How could such a sweet dragon be ostracized like this? It's absurd. He said that I shouldn't listen to everyone else around me, but rather myself. His voice is calming and soft, and frankly, made me feel better instantly. I told him that I'd try to ignore any side-eyeing or hateful comments from them, and he gave me an encouraging grin. He also told me to tell him if anything else happened, he'd be there as soon as he could. I'm thankful I have Mr. Rowensong at school. He's one of the only dragons I trust. I'm not sure if the dragons that heard about my crush on Faith told her. All I know is that she didn't talk to me today. It worries me, but it's probably nothing. Anyways, I think I need a break. I'll go give my greenhouse a visit and stay there until the night comes. See ya, journal.
January 3rd, the year 6028, 2:37 p.m.
Maybe it isn't the best time to write about this. I am locked in a closet after all, trying to wipe my tears away. But a lot has happened since yesterday, journal. I still can't believe it. So, this morning I was nervous to go to school. I didn't tell Seth what was up, but they could tell that something was off with their cousin. They said that if I have anything on my mind, I shouldn't be afraid to tell them. I told them I was fine and went to school. As soon as I arrived, I realized that the staring was getting more and more aggressive. I'm not sure how to explain it, but I could feel the intense glaring and the difference between the norm. I checked my first class, and it was biology. I guess it was fine at first. I don't really mind biology, but then I remembered that Faith had that class with me. I immediately started to panic and didn't know what to do. But I decided, to hell with it! It'd be better if I just went, right? Well, wrong! As soon as I entered class, Faith was already in her usual spot, right next to mine. My heart was beating in my head, and my blood was rushing. With a trembling breath, I sat down next to Faith, the occasional glance shared. Suddenly, she spoke up. She said that we couldn't be friends anymore. I whipped my head around to stare at her, but she just kept staring at the board in front of us. With furrowed brows, she said that she isn't looking for a friend who's attracted to her, or who looks as weird as I do. My entire world shattered, right then and there. They told her. They actually told her. Even after Mr. Rowensong told them not to. Not only that, but she also basically called me ugly. I get that my scales look different. I get that I'm different. But it shouldn't matter. I didn't even reply. I just asked the teacher if I could go to the bathroom. That's where I am now. Trying my best not to sound like an idiot. I might ask to leave school early today. I just can't handle it.
January 6th, the year 6028, 8:09 p.m.
Oh, journal. My life has been terrible. I've been so busy trying to ignore what's been happening to me. I still can't really believe it. I'm sorry I haven't spoken to you in a while. The other dragonettes at school have been bullying me. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. They yell at me from across the hall, and every single time I can feel my neck burning as everyone starts staring at me. It's terrifying. All eyes on you as they call you names and tell you that you don't belong here? Not very fun. My grades have been steady, but it's been harder with all that name calling in the back of my mind. I can barely stop thinking about it for 5 seconds without someone calling me Splotch. Such a harmless nickname, and yet with context, you realize that the word has a much deeper meaning. Powerful enough to scar, which is exactly what happened to me. Every single time I think of my scales or catch a glimpse of my talons, I think of that horrid name, and a shiver runs down my spine. As if their verbal attacks echo in my ears as loud as possible, dragging me away from reality and bringing me to a realm far away from this one, filled with anger, sorrow, and weakness. Sorry about that. I've been practicing my writing skills. Thought I could try to use them while I vent. Other than the bullying, things have been very different. Faith doesn't talk to me anymore, and it's been harder to keep up with appearances in vision class. Well, I'm not sure if I'll be able to sleep tonight. Mother's calling me to eat supper now, so I have to go. I'll see you after I finish, journal.
January 7th, the year 6028, 12:57 a.m.
I can't sleep. I haven't even batted an eye since I climbed back into bed. I've just been staring at the ceiling, thinking about all the things they said to me. I'm not sure why it bothers me so much. I mean, I could just ignore them, right? Like Mr. Roansong told me to do? Well, apparently not. My stupid brain can't help but ponder my very existence just because of one commonly repeated word. It's a curse. A painful one, as a matter of fact. It cuts deep and leaves you bleeding out on the floor, stinging, letting you writhe like a piece of prey, just waiting to devour you. It picks you up and throws you into a wall, letting you feel the air escape from your lungs before giving you the final, fatal blow. What I'm trying to say is, it's a nightmare, and I wish I wasn't stuck in it. I can't believe this is happening to me. A month ago, I was still a positive dragonette, clueless to the worries of the world, but now? Well, you know. I guess everyone changes, for the better or the worse. I'll try to close my eyes now, journal. Wish me luck falling asleep.
January 19th, the year 6028, 11:50 p.m.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but it got worse. They're hurting me now. Physically, I mean. The screaming's getting louder. I can't get it out of my head. It's been chipping away at my mental health. And I'm not sure how to react. I can't tell anybody. I told me if I did, they'd kick me. One day, I told Mr. Roansong about the name calling, and they called me a snitch. I'm not doing it again. The hardest part is hiding the bruises. Mother and father think I just tripped down a staircase. I almost wish I wasn't this good at lying, so that they'd see I'm in pain, that I need help. I think Seth knows. I haven't told them directly, but Seth of all dragons should be aware that I'm not a clumsy dragon. They've been asking me if I need any help, but I told them I was fine. It's not like it would change anything if I told them. The rumors would just spread everywhere, and I'd look like a weak little punk. We can't have that. I'm gonna go now, journal. This week has been just as bad as all the others, and I'm glad the weekend is here. See ya.
January 27th, the year 6028, 10:36 a.m.
Seth took me out today. They said that I should get some air and start getting out of the house more. It was hard to fly with all my injuries, but I managed. We went to a fair. Seth said that I could buy anything I wanted. I asked if we could get some flower seeds, and they happily obliged. I'm glad they're my cousin. Without them, I don't know what I'd do. They knew that I was feeling down and cheered me up. Made me forget about everything else in my life. They truly are the best. Now we're back at home, and Seth is washing their hands so we can start planting the seeds. I'm pretty sure they're hibiscus seeds, but Seth told me that it was a surprise. Well, they're back in the room now, telling me to hurry up so we can get started. See you soon, journal.
January 27th, the year 6028, 1:27 p.m.
We finished planting the seeds, and I couldn't be happier. I got to spend time with my cousin again after the longest time. It was fun, liberating even. We planted the seeds, got our towns very dirty, and joked around, just like the old days. I don't think I realized how much I miss Seth. I'm glad we reconnected. I was going to tell her about the bullying, but I held my tongue. It wasn't a good idea. I trust Seth more than anyone, but I can't. It's too much to handle. Seth is asking if I want to go out with their friends for dinner. I'm hesitant. What if they're mean like the other dragons at my school? What if they start judging me? Seth assured me that they were super nice, but I'm not sure. I think I'll go, though. As a thanks to Seth for being a great cousin.
January 27th, the year 6028, 9:21 p.m.
Seth's friends are actually kind of nice. I'm pleasantly surprised. They greeted me and didn't stare right at my scales when I spoke. It was refreshing, to say the least. There are 3 of them, 1 Nightwing, 1 Seawing, and 1 Mudwing. The Nightwing's name is Orion, and I'm pretty sure he's Seth's boyfriend. They say there's nothing between them, but it's kind of obvious. The Seawing's name is Tide, and she's the nicest out of all of them. She always hung around me, and we spoke to each other the whole evening. And finally, the Mudwing. Toad. He can be pretty hot-headed and rough on the outside, but he's a sweetheart when you get to meet him. We ate at a simple little food shack, but wow, the food was amazing. It looked questionable, but it was actually delicious. I'm pretty sure it was cow meat, but the cook wouldn't tell us. He said it's the family secret, whatever that means. Now we're all hanging out in this huge valley. Tide is sitting next to me, watching as I write. She says I'm a great writer, but all I'm doing is writing about my experience. Toad is rolling around in the grass, and Orion and Seth are stargazing together. They're so cute. Tide and I keep giggling at their intertwined tails. Well, Tide is inviting me to join her for some stargazing as well, so I'll stop writing for now. I'll see you after tonight, journal. P.S. Hey, it's the one and only Seth. Dream fell asleep, so I'm writing a little hello for her to see when she wakes up. Poor kid was so tired. Hopefully she gets a good rest.
January 28th, the year 6028, 11:34 a.m.
According to Seth, yesterday I was so tired that I fell asleep on Tide. They brought me back home and tucked me into bed, but not before writing a little hello note in you. I'm glad they didn't say anything bad, only the part about yesterday. I can tell they care about me a lot. It's nice to finally feel like I belong somewhere. I almost wish Seth and their friends would come to my school. I know they won't because they're too old, but I'll still dare to dream. I plan on visiting my town's local library. It's been too long since I've wrapped my talons around a scroll. I'm thinking about getting some kind of poetry book. Toad is a big poet, and he told me that poems are a great way to express yourself. So I thought I'd give it a shot. But before I do, I want to see some more examples. Get some inspiration before I start writing all over the place, you know? Well, I'll see you soon. Mother said I have to hurry since we're having guests today. One of our prissy lady friends, I presume. Those pricks never know when to stop judging. They don't even say anything directly offensive. They either purse their lips or say something passive-aggressive that leaves you questioning the true meaning behind their words. Either way, I'm not very excited to see whoever she invited over. Anyways, see you soon, journal.
January 28th, the year 6028, 1:08 p.m.
I'm finally back. Mother yelled at me for taking 2 hours to pick a scroll. How long does picking a scroll even take? She said. I don't think she understands literature very well. It's a rich art that only few have the talent and mindset to understand and exploit. I am, apparently, one of those few. So it takes longer for me to pick something to read. I always want to find the perfect scroll, and sometimes it takes hours. But I think I settled on a good one. It's called The Art of Poetry. Seems interesting enough, and it should give me enough knowledge to write a poem. But Mother is telling me to get ready since the guests will arrive in a few minutes. Again, I'm not in the mood to see one of Mother's friends right now. But if I don't listen to her, she'll yell at me again. Not a very fun experience. So, I'll see you after the guests leave. Maybe I'll have a poem written by then. Either out of pure boredom during the conversations I might have, or just me testing the waters.
January 28th, the year 6028, 5:42 p.m.
Turns out, Mother invited one of the worst pricks her friend group has to offer. Vigilance and her husband, Quicksight. 2 seers. Great! So it was even harder than I had imagined, because they kept asking me about my visions, as if I want to talk about something that is such a pain to maintain in the first place. It's like I'm forming a web of lies, and it doesn't end there. Those idiots have a son, Secret Stalker, and he's a mind reader! A mind reader, I tell you! What are the odds that I, a dragon with multiple things eyed, has to converse with a hellish dragonette who could probably expose me in a wing beat? It took all of my energy to hide anything and everything from him. And to think that Mother and Vigilance wanted to arrange a marriage between me and him. Him! A mind reader! Yeah, no thank you. I'd rather get thrown into an adder pit. Thing is, though I accidentally slipped in a thought about school. I got carried away and forgot about his mind-reading abilities. I was almost pleasantly surprised when he said he also suffered from the same things I did. We spoke about our struggles and confessed things to each other I never knew I'd tell anyone. I guess it was easier to talk to him since he could relate to what I was saying. I think I made a new friend today. Definitely unexpected. Well, I've got to get back to my conversation now. It's nice to finally talk to someone other than, well, you. See you, journal.
February 3rd, the year 6028, 7:45 p.m.
Sometimes life can suck the energy out of you. It can make you feel so weak, so blue. There's often nothing you can do. Wishing your mistakes you could undo, but the dragons are blind to the answer, so true. Stay close to the ones who stick with you through and through, even if the exhaustion took you by the throat and through. You'll always know how to get back home, if happiness you pursue. Well, here's my first poem. It's not as good as I'd want, but frankly, it's good enough for a first try. I can't wait to show this to Toad when I next see him. For now, I'll just work on my poetry skills some more. See you, journal.
February 19th, the year 6028, 4:57 p.m.
Seth surprised me with some newly bloomed flowers today after school. They told me that I've been doing a great job lately and that I deserve something to prove that. I'm so lucky to have them in my life. They're like one of my favorite dragons. Ever! But that isn't why I came here today, journal. Seth gave me some mind-blowing news. And you're the first, if not the only, one who I'll share this with. I have a sister. Turns out, she left a long time ago, after something happened. I'm not sure what it was, though. Seth didn't tell me that part. But they told me that I reminded them of her, which is one of the best compliments I've ever gotten. If not the only one. Anyways, I've been bothering Seth to tell me more ever since that happened. I haven't had much luck with more tidbits on her, but I do know that her name is Mercy. And she's my sister. Wow, that feels super weird. Sister? Me? A sister? Crazy, right? Well, I have to go now, journal. Seth and I are going to spend the afternoon together. See you soon.
February 23rd, the year 6028, 9:36 p.m.
Finally, the break is here. I don't know if I could have handled another day in school. I started to adapt to the bullies. I even took the time to learn their names. They were a group of 3, Obsidian, Fearless, and Thoughtful. I've taken notes on each of them so I know exactly how to act whenever they're around. The bullies. Notes taken by DreamKeeper Lacerta. In order of danger. Obsidian. He's a big hunk that mostly does all the kicking. He may be strong and large, but I'm small and dexterous. If I pay attention to his movements, I'll be able to easily dodge his attacks. Plus, he's extremely slow, so if I manage to escape his violent attempts at hurting me, I can easily run away. Thoughtful. Thoughtful is the one who prefers verbal over physical. They'll attack with the power of words, using their slitted tongue to poison my ears with their cruel names. It is unknown what can be done to stop Thoughtful's oral thrashes. All I can do is close my eyes tight, and pray to the 3 moons that their mutters aren't as painful as the previous. Fearless. She's the worst of the 3. She's not afraid to use her claws or teeth, so be careful with that. Fearless is the slimmest of the trio, using her agility and strength to her advantage. At some point I came home with a bite mark on my wrist, and I had to shrug it off as a wild animal. Note for future dream. Just try your best to avoid all 3 of these dragons. It's easier than rebelling against them. Anyways, sorry about that, journal. Just making some notes for myself in case I come across those bastards anytime. I'm going on vacation a few days with my family. We're going to Isle Mezzo, I think? I'm not sure what it's called, but it seems interesting. Apparently, there's this thing called the Alliance there. It's a bunch of dragons trying to help others, using their special skill sets to their advantage. It seems very interesting. If I could, I'd love to join it. Oh, not to mention, there's a university there? Based on the pictures Seth has shown me, it seems more than gorgeous. Everything about Isle Mezzo intrigues me. Hopefully I'll get to know more about it soon. Oh! I almost forgot. I met Secret Stalker again. Seth and I were out on a walk when they noticed the familiar face of one of our previous guests. And they joked that they'd recognize a prick from a mile away, and usually I'd reply with a chuckle, but when it comes to Secret Stalker, it wasn't very funny. Seth decided to leave us after I explicitly told him to stop. Gently, of course. So I got to spend the day with him. We had a lot of fun. I think he's cool. Yeah, he's a cool friend. I have to go pack now, Journal. I'll see you after my vacation. See ya, Journal. Wish me luck.
March 2nd, the year 6028, 4:57 p.m.
Wow. Simply wow. My trip was incredible, Journal. I got to visit every nook and cranny on Isle Mezzo. It was wonderful. I really want to attend. It intrigues me beyond belief. Everyone there seems much nicer than, well, the people from my school. I even saw anti-bullying posters when I walked through the halls. Seth probably got annoyed with how much I was talking about the Alliance and the university. They said that whatever I wanted to do, I could do it. Definitely raised my spirits. The only thing Seth actually liked during the trip was when we went down to this almost enchanting landscape. I'm pretty sure it was called the Great Lake. They were dazzled by the sparkling waters. But now we're back to boring old Pyria. Well, I guess it's about time I get back to school. I do wish the break lasted longer, though. I don't think I'll ever be ready to go back. That place has become a living hell for me. I wish I lived on Isle Mezzo. I bet life there is 100 times better than here. Well, I better go, Journal. Father's calling me. I still have to unpack and get ready for school tomorrow. Not excited at all.
March 3rd, the year 6028, 12:35 p.m.
Well, here I am, at school. I ran into Thoughtful this morning. I tried my best to ignore them, but even if I seem like I'm unbothered, I wish they would just disappear. Not just Thoughtful, all of them. Fearless, Faith, and Obsidian included. They all hurt me in ways even I cannot truly comprehend. I can barely understand why they're doing the things they do. It's exhausting. So, to get my mind off of returning to this hellhole, I visited Mr. Rowensong's office. It'd been the longest time since I'd seen him, and I just wanted to chat for a while. Ask how his vacation had been and if he did something interesting. But he wasn't there. At first, I was confused. Why would he be absent on the first day back at school? So I asked another nearby teacher, Grizzly, and she told me that he quit. My heart sank. My favorite teacher, the only one on this campus who truly understood how I felt, was gone. Rowensong. I'm hidden in the corner of the classroom now. My face is probably still swelling from the tears, but I'm trying my best to conceal them. I wonder why he left.
March 14th, the year 6028, 3:40 p.m.
It's the weekend. I survived the week. Sorrow overwhelming me on most days whenever I thought of Rowensong. Today, I decided to visit his old house. I wanted to see him, at least one last time. But he wasn't there. Instead, there was an old rainwing. She felt terrible with the poor Dreknet at her doorstep, letting me in and sharing what she knew. She told me that the previous owner, Rowensong, had moved away after getting a better job elsewhere. At first I was disappointed that he didn't even say goodbye to me. But somehow, I underestimated how well Rowensong knew me. Raymond told me that he had left a letter to a dragonette named DreamKeeper. My heart skipped a beat, excitement engulfing me. I took the letter and put it in my pouch, thanking the old dragon and bolting back home. I can see it sitting at my bedside now. I keep occasionally glancing at it, unsure if I should read it now or keep it for later. What am I even saying? I'm not going to open it yet. It just doesn't feel right. I'm going to take a break in my greenhouse now, Journal. I need some time alone to clear my head. Maybe I'll go for a midnight flight after that. See you, Journal.
March 21st, the year 6028, 2:24 p.m.
I opened Rowensong's letter. I guess I'm not as strong-willed as I thought I was. He said he left the school to join something called the Clear Sight Cult? It sounds ominous at first, but the way he describes it makes it sound kind of refreshing. He says they respect all members, as long as they believe in Clear Sight, of course, and that it's a great place. He added that he thought I would be happier there than I ever was here. Oh, Journal, I think I'm going to run away to join Rowan Song. This group sounds so incredible, and plus it makes me almost excited to leave my current lifestyle for a new one. But what about my family? Actually, I'm not worried about my family. Mostly just Seth. I'll miss them so much. I think they're the only reason I'm still here. That's an absolutely insane thought, but I think it's true. After everything that's happened to me, they were the only one who was there for me. Other than their friends, of course. I'll have to think about it, Journal. Oh my moons. What a mess.
March 21st, the year 6028, 3:19 p.m.
I've made my decision. I'm running away to join the Clearside cult. They'll clearly treat me better than I'm being treated here. I have written a long note for Seth, expressing my feelings and how much I'll miss them. And I'm almost finished packing. I'll leave at midnight. I wonder what it'll be like without my family around. Without Seth, without my friends. But most importantly, without those bullies. It'll be different, I know, but I'll get used to it. Plus, it's for the best. I'm going to have my last dinner with my family soon. It'll be emotional at worst, but hopefully I can keep myself from crying. I'll give you updates soon, Journal. See you.
March 22nd, the year 6028, 4:01 a.m.
Hey, Journal. Yesterday was crazy. I tried my absolute hardest to keep a straight face, and it worked. But, of course, Seth noticed that something was off. After we finished eating, Seth pulled me aside and asked what in the 3 moons is happening to me, and why I've been so distant lately. I decided that I might as well tell them, since they'd know sooner or later anyways. I told them that I was leaving at midnight and that I didn't want them to stop me. I think that the moment after I said those words was the longest in my life. As I stared at my cousin's face, I saw so many tiny details that I'd never noticed before. It felt like an eternity before they responded. They told me that they would respect my decision, which was honestly a surprise. I didn't expect them to accept my conditions and not tell anyone. But they did have one request if I wanted their mouth shut. Seth wanted me to write to them every day to make sure that I'm fine. At those words, I felt tears well up in my eyes. Looking at Seth's contorted and worried face, I just couldn't stop myself from hugging them with all my might. I squeezed them, and they did the same. I knew right then and there that Seth would always be my best friend, no matter where I'd be. They'd always be the one I could trust. After a hug that was shorter than I'd ever wanted, Seth wished me well and told me that if I got into trouble, they wouldn't clean it up for me. They were clearly joking, but I can't help but wonder if I will get into trouble and need Seth around. We exchanged more goodbyes, hugged each other again for good measure, and I ran back to my room to get my things. I decided to get a little bit of rest before my trip since it would be long and painful, and I knew that. I got a few hours of sleep before waking up to the sound of a door closing. As I raised my head, I realized that there was a note on my now cleared bedside table. As soon as I saw it, I knew Seth had left me a goodbye letter. With a teary grin, I stored it neatly in my pouch. It would be a nice memory to carry around. I double-checked my list of items and made sure that I had everything I needed. Rations, water, ink, quills, books, Rowan Song's letter with directions, and Seth's goodbye note. I had everything I needed. With that, I gave my room one last longing sweep of my gaze before I shot out the window. I beat my wings until I was soaring over the clouds. Somehow, the sight of the gorgeous full moon and the gleaming stars over the almost cloudless sky, it made me almost feel better about leaving my home. I felt at peace. I never felt so alive before. I attempted a few twirls in the air, though barely managed to balance myself after them, and made my way towards where Rowan Song had told me to go. Right now, I'm resting near a small ledge I found on my journey. After flying for a few hours, I realized that I'd never really gotten much practice flying, and I didn't have much endurance. I'd have to manage my energy well if I wanted to make it to the Clearside cult soon. I need to get some sleep now, Journal. I'll continue flying when the sun sets. See you, Journal.
March 26th, the year 6028, 5:22 a.m.
A day ago, I made a pit stop at a town in the Sand Kingdom to rest for the day, but I noticed that there were some weird dragons watching me from the sidelines. After a while of checking out the different traders in the area, they came up to me and started up a conversation. I was startled to say the least, but I obliged nonetheless. After a moment of chatting, I realized one of them seemed oddly familiar. Their dark red scales, curved dark carmine horns. Could it be? They had a mask over their snout, but somehow I could tell. It was Rowan-song. As soon as he noticed the suspicious gleam in my eyes, he gave me one of his comforting grins and pulled down the veil that once covered his face. The sight of one of my favorite dragons standing right in front of me again somehow made me feel so much better all of a sudden. He wrapped me into a tight embrace, and we stayed like that for a few moments before the other cult member piped up. He introduced himself as Lucid, and as it turns out, he was Rowan-song's husband. The two had been married for years and decided to join the cult together a few months back, but it took a while to finally leave and get to the stronghold. After some pleasant interactions, they said that after getting a vision that I'd be arriving at this town soon, they decided to intercept my travels and escort me to the stronghold themselves. I obviously agreed to this, so we all traveled together after a nice lunch in town. I think it's the happiest I've felt in a while. I am currently in the stronghold itself on the first floor. They haven't let me up yet since I haven't completed my assigned task, though I truly am ready to complete the task. I can't help but wonder if my actions will bring consequences to those it affects. I have to poison a well in a village that's already slowly withering away. Its citizens are already just scales and bones, they told me. And I suppose they were trying to make me feel better by justifying that they're already on the verge of death. I still don't know if this is too morally ambiguous for me, though. I'll have to think about it. Well, regardless, I'm really tired, and I really need a rest. See you, journal.
March 30th, the year 6028, 2:57 p.m.
Well, good news and bad news? Good news is I'm officially in the cult! Yay! But bad news, I know I shouldn't technically say this as bad news, but just the thought of having poisoned that well makes me shudder. But I'm sure it's fine. I really need to look on the bright side, don't I? Hey, at least I'm officially a member of the Clear Sight cult. That's great, right? I don't think I've ever been this excited and guilty at the same time. Such conflicted feelings. Though I do note that I haven't felt anything truly positive ever since the bullying started. It feels nice to get away from all that. As if this is just a small price to pay for my own freedom. For my peace. Forgot to mention, but I got a tattoo on my cheek. It's the official symbol of the cult, and I'm honestly kind of proud of myself for not causing too much of a fuss when it was made. Rowan-song and Lucid seemed proud of me too, giving me a few praises after I got it. I feel safer around those two, as if they're basically my family. I almost see them as my fathers. I already trust and love Rowan-song to death, and clearly he feels that way towards Lucid as well. So I trust them just as much as I trust Rowan-song. Right, the tattoo. It looks pretty different from anything I've ever seen. It's a circle with an eye in the middle and lines crossing from the circumference to the edges of the eye. Because of the way the black looks kind of weird on my scales, I decided to make it white. It's almost the same hue as my... well, no matter. I find it quite appealing, and Rowan-song and Lucid agree. I might get some more in the future if I'm allowed. Oh, right. I don't need permission anymore. That's honestly something I'll need time to get used to. It's crazy, but definitely refreshing. Anyways, I think I'm tired of ranting for now, journal. I'll see you if anything interesting happens.
April 14th, the year 6028, 1:45 p.m.
I think I've been getting more used to the missions that I've been given by the cult. Lately, I've gotten a lot of tasks, but Rowan-song specifically requested them to be the least macabre since he clearly doesn't deem me ready for anything too extreme just yet. So, instead of direct murder, I've been doing minor things such as killing cattle in the most brutal ways possible and leaving no traces of salvageable food sources, loosening the cornerstones of archways so they crash down, and even tarnishing dragons' baking leather so they can't sell it. I can't say it's been easy, especially since this is all so morally ambiguous, but it's been fun? I guess? I'm not sure how to explain it. I mean, on one talent, I'm happy to be doing these things for the cult. But on the other talent, I almost regret making others suffer like that. Lucid keeps telling me that I'll get used to it soon enough, and Rowan Song says that he's sure I'll grow past it. And even if I trust them more than anybody, I somehow can't help but wonder if this is a bad idea. Speaking of dragons I trust, I've been sending letters to Seth under an alias, Cheflera. It's the type of plant I got back on my 7th birthday, and I thought it might be fitting to use it instead of my real name. If I was to write DreamKeeper Lacerta on every letter I sent, I'd be found rather quickly, and my family would probably become alerted. Luckily, though, from what Seth's told me, they don't seem to be worrying much. Though it stings a little, I know it's for the best. Seth said that they sent out a search party, but after the first few days, they just gave up. They also said that my parents don't seem to mind my disappearance much. Seth, on the other hand, really does miss me. I miss them just as much. I wish they were here so I could hug them with all my might. I think about them every night, and every time I do any cult task, their face comes to mind and it gives me the strength to do whatever I'm supposed to be doing. I also wish I could tell them about the cult and what I've been doing, but they don't allow us to share any information about our visions or our actions. I just told them that I've been living in a city near the Sandwing Kingdom's west coast near the ocean, and they believed me. I still sometimes forget how good I am at lying and how easily others can be convinced with just the right set of words. Anyways, I have to go right back to Seth now, Journal. I'll see you soon.
April 22nd, the year 6028, 9:01 p.m.
I think that today was a great example to show that my life is completely different than it ever was before. I remember today that I don't have my plants anymore, which honestly it breaks my heart. And that I don't have to keep up with my fake visions anymore. The latter is honestly a relief, but I still can't help but feel odd about it all. I'm definitely used to the cult by now, since it's already basically been a month, but I'm still bummed by the things that I haven't brought along with me. I especially miss my plants. And Seth, of course. I miss being able to water them every day, and I regret not being able to watch the flowers that Seth and I planted together grow. But today, Lucid and Rowan Song did something that I honestly never expected them to do. They noticed that I was feeling down, and to cheer me up, we planted a single sunflower seed in a pot. I doubt it'll grow in such a blazing desert, but it's the thought that counts. And who knows, maybe it'll grow to its full extent someday. Frankly, I'm just extremely thankful for Lucid and Rowan Song's kind actions. I never expected them to do what they did, but I'm very happy that they did since it honestly made my day. Then, I later found out that today is Lucid's birthday, and nearly choked on my supper. Rowan Song, Lucid, some other cult members, and I all celebrated with some cake and a small campfire where we sang songs and danced and laughed. I'd never felt so alive. As much as I'd love to ramble in about everything that happened today, though, I'm exhausted and I need to rest my head. I'll see you soon, Journal.
May 3rd, the year 6028, 10:28 p.m.
I'm on my first real mission, Journal. I still can't believe it. I'm joined by an old Seawing who seems very dedicated to the cult. Their name is Seagrass. A cutthroat Icewing, Windchill, who honestly looks like she could squash any of us in a heartbeat, and Artemis, a Nightwing around my age who seems highly confident in himself. Though they may seem insufferable, they're pretty nice when you spend enough time with them. They were annoying at first, but I quickly got used to it. We'll be flying out to an assassination job all the way in the Skywing Kingdom in a few moments. We all just woke up from our naps. We sleep during the day to prevent attracting attention to ourselves. And we'll be setting off soon. Our target is a dragon named Harrier. Though Rowan Song and Lucid warned me that I might not have the guts to complete the job, I'm sure they're wrong. I can definitely do this. I'm sure I can. I have trained for this, and I'm sure that I'm ready. The plan is simple. We wait till nightfall before taking off. Artemis will lockpick the door, which is, frankly, one of the only things he's good for. Seagrass and him will stand watch for anyone while Windchill and I find the target and neutralize them. Artemis and Seagrass both complained that they wouldn't get to strike the final blow. But Windchill argued the cult leaders themselves told the two of us to kill the target instead of the other two. They seemed skeptical, but she was right. I'm not sure if they wanted to test whether or not I'd be able to complete this task when they chose me to kill a target, or if they made Windchill tag along to make sure I did it properly. Regardless, I'm just glad to be doing this. Artemis is starting to bother me for writing in you, so I'm gonna go get ready now. See you, journal.
June 12th, the year 6028, 8:14 a.m.
I'm sorry I haven't written in you in a while. I just needed some time to recompose after the mission. I did it. I killed the target. But I can't say that I did it without getting the side effects. I remember the scene vividly. Windchill and I crawled up the stairs of their mansion. I spotted the target in the darkness, and when we got close enough, she held him still while I pulled out my dagger and slit his throat. I still see the blood gushing under my talons. It was almost nightmarish. I felt the nausea crash onto me almost immediately, but I managed to hold back vomiting since Windchill said that authorities would be able to identify my DNA through it. I remember almost crash landing when we shot back into the sky since I was so dizzy. I couldn't stop staring at my bloody talons and I was trembling. I couldn't believe what I'd done. It was terrible, journal, but I had completed the task, and that was what mattered most. Though Windchill and Artemis mocked me for not being able to hold a straight face, Seagrass was there to comfort me. They told me that everyone's a bit stunned after the first assassination, and that I'd get over it soon enough. I'm glad they were there for me, because if they weren't, I'm not sure if I would have been able to calm myself down enough to make it back to camp. The cult has a policy so that we don't trace the murders back to them, and it's quite simple. After any task, we have to stay a few months out in camp so the heat dies down before we come back. We're still in camp right now, and I think I've been starting to come to terms with what I've done. Thinking back on it now, I don't think I even did it right. The way I was holding my dagger wasn't the correct way, and I was clearly very jittery while doing it. Hopefully, next time I don't do the same. Windchill showed me all her tattoos the other day. Almost makes me want to get some more for myself. Most of them are things that happened on missions that she deemed cool enough to engrave into her scales. Artemis said that his scars were cooler, but all he had was a nick behind his wrist, which honestly made us snicker a bit. He spent the rest of the day sulking in the corner as Seagrass told us the wondrous tales from all of their adventures in the cult. It was a nice moment.
June 23rd, the year 6028, 11:13 p.m.
Sanguine tears, carmine-tinted bones. The world's getting rasher, the harder it hones. Acute senses, gushing red waters. The world's getting smaller, the larger the slaughters. I got bored, so I decided to write a poem. I actually really like this one. Have I been improving? I almost wish I could show Toad and the others. I truly do miss them. I wonder if they're doing alright.
July 29th, the year 6028, 3:47 p.m.
A messenger just came with a letter from the cult telling us to stay out here a little longer. They're saying that there's some big mission that they have to plan for and don't want to risk ruining everything. Everyone who was out currently had to wait until after the mission was completed to return. The group and I were perplexed about this, but we obviously obliged. We're still unsure about what's going on, but we're speculating.
August 15th, the year 6028, 5:53 p.m.
My days have just been a series of boring and repetitive activities, and the others seem to agree. So, we've decided that tomorrow we'll be going to the market to buy some items to distract us from our insatiable boredom. I've been thinking about redecorating my pouch, since it's been starting to get a little rusty and worn out, so there's that. Artemis wants to get some more paint, probably to go get some fake tattoos to flex on us. Windchill wants a new dagger since hers broke a few days ago when she was sharpening it, and Seagrass wants some new scarves since theirs have been getting dirty. We're all just very excited since the Skywing Kingdom has a reputation for having great items for sale. I remember that Seth told me about the time that they ended up going to the Skywing Kingdom for a school project and came back with way more than needed. Oh, how I miss them. I haven't been able to write them in a while since I ran out of extra parchment paper, so I'll definitely get that when we're in town.
August 16th, the year 6028, 6:14 p.m.
Today was surprisingly pleasant. Everyone got what they wanted, and we had fun running around and getting whatever we needed. I decided to do some embroidery on my pouch, so I got a bunch of colored silk to weave into the thick leather of my carrier. And no, I didn't forget the parchment paper, so I'll be able to write Seth today. I can't wait to talk to them again. Anyways, I have a parchment pointer, so I have to go now.
August 20th, the year 6028, 2:32 p.m.
After a lot of hard work, I finally finished my pouch. I sewed a bunch of floral patterns onto its side and the straps, so now it has a burst of color on it. It looks really nice. I bet Seth would have loved it. The others seem to approve, except for Seagrass, who deems it has way too much color. But they do appreciate the intricate shapes. I think it looks great personally. It's nice to finally do something for once. Luckily though, now I just have to polish it and then I'll be done. After that, Artemis said that he wanted to play a game with us, which honestly concerns me since his games are mostly just set up for disaster, but we obliged nonetheless. I do hope that we get to return to the Stronghold soon though. I miss Lucid and Rowan's song, and I've been debating whether or not I should send them a letter.
September 27th, the year 6028, 8:12 p.m.
We finally know when we can return home. After October 15th, we'll be able to return and continue our lives as normal. Apparently, it has something to do with flames. I'm kind of concerned, but Winchell keeps telling me not to be such a worrywart. I know deep down she's worried as well, so I won't argue. But we all know that anything to do with fire will probably end up in ruins. Hopefully Rowan's song and Lucid will be alright.
October 17th, the year 6028, 1:23 p.m.
He's dead. Rowan's song has perished in the flames. I could barely feel anything. I still can't believe he's dead. Lucid had lost their voice when they fell and slit their throat, but they somehow survived. The only things left of Rowan's song were his earring and his veil. Though the teardrop-shaped gem of the earring was fractured when it hit the ground, Lucid decided to keep the veil, and he gave the earring to me. I'll never take this off. Rowan's song deserves to be remembered, so I've decided to get another tattoo. One of the sunflower he and Lucid helped me plant. Winchell and Lucid seemed to support my decision, and Winchell told me that she'll be there with me when I do it. I know it'll go well, but I'm glad she'll be there. I think I'm going to take a break from writing for a little while. Maybe I'll write on my birthday, but I just can't right now. The aching I feel whenever I think of Rowan's song is too much to handle for all of us.
November 6th, the year 6028, 5:17 p.m.
Today's my birthday, but I'm not as happy as I should be. It's almost been a month since Rowan's song died, and I can't get him off my mind. Though my friends seem to be trying to make me feel better, I just can't manage to truly feel happy, even with the small grin on my face. I got a bunch of gifts, but none of them actually made me feel any kind of excitement, except for one. Lucid showed me something that Rowan's song had bought as a gift for me while I was out on my first assassination mission, and that he planned to give it to me, but he clearly couldn't now. When I opened it, I couldn't contain my tears. It was the same earring that Rowan's song used to wear. The same one I'm currently wearing to honor his memory. It seemed like he would have wanted me to match with him regardless of life or death. It came with a note filled with kind words, and a set of 3 made me drop everything. I love you. Oh, how I miss him. I crumpled down into Lucid's arms and immediately placed the new earring on my other ear. Though this one was much cleaner and wasn't missing a shard, it still made me look a lot more mature. Fitting since I've aged by a year. Overall, today was a day filled with tears, both happy and sad. Lucid and I decided to end the day by watching the sunset with the sunflower we all planted together. It was a real tear fest, but one that'll mark me for the rest of my life. Rowan's song is what got me to join the cult, but the cult is what killed Rowan's song. I don't know how to feel about that. I'm almost scared of what could happen. To Lucid, to the others, to me. It's all a confusing blur of fear and anxiety. I did end up getting the sunflower tattoo. It was Windchill's gift for me. I put it on my right wrist so that I'd always remember him when I wrote in you. Rest in peace, Rowan Song. You deserve the moons and more.
April 4th, the year 6032, 6:13 p.m.
I forgot I even had this. Long time no see, journal. How about we run this again from the top? My name is Dreamkeeper Lacerta, 11 years old, living on Isle Meza with my adoptive father, Lucid Mulberry. I think I have a lot to catch you up on, and I will. But first, let me tell you how I've been lately. It's been very stressful. My dad and I have had to cover up our cult tattoos with new ones. Though, in my father's case, he just removed his since he didn't want to walk around wearing such a disgraceful symbol on his cheek. I covered mine with floral tattoos, and I quite like it. We've been living on Isle Meza for a few months now, ever since the cult was destroyed by the Alliance. We can't say we're mad, because we've had a burning hatred for the cult ever since Ronsong perished in the Great Mezzo Fire. All the leaders were killed, and we were set free, as long as we didn't cause any more trouble. I suggested to my dad that we could move to Isle Mezzo since I'd loved it there since my early hatchling days, and he obliged to my request. So, we moved into Mezzo Town, where we live as humble civilians. Though, I have an interview at a plant shop soon, and I hope I get hired. My parent took up a job as a bartender, and they seem fairly happy. I think they might have found their calling. Over the years, Lucid and I ended up doing a few more jobs, but nothing too extreme. I never killed anyone again, not after Harrier. I was still too shaken. Since Lucid ended up losing their voice in the Great Mezzo Fire after falling and slashing their vocal cords, we ended up learning sign language together. It's how we communicate. Though I don't use it as much as him since he can hear me. I just learned it to understand him, though I could communicate with death dragons if needed. Right now, I'm trying to enter the Alliance as a trainee and get a spot as a student in the university. I've always wanted to, and Lucid seems to be encouraging me. Hopefully I'll be able to get in. Well, now that I have found you after rummaging through some boxes in my room, I think I'd like to continue writing in you. It seems like I used to love it, but I completely forgot about it after taking a break. I promise I'll try to stay consistent.